Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Save Point Podcast. This is episode 62. I am Dan, your host. I'm joined here by Chris and Ryan. How you guys doing today?
We're doing good.
Agreed.
I was going to say, does he answer for you?
Only on days that end in Y.
Oh, okay. Just making sure. So, but this is the Save Point Podcast. We have been off for a little bit. There has been a lot of shit that has happened in the past couple of months from some personal stuff and all of that. And but we're back. Next episode, we move on. We drudge on. So first off, check us out on our socials at the Save Point for Twitter, the Save Point Podcast _ between each word on our Instagram, and then check us out on Twitch at twitch.tv/thesavepointtv. That's really about it. Ryan, instead of scratching your balls in front of me.
I don't know what you're talking about.
Yeah. What have you been playing?
Most recently, Call of Duty, Modern Warfare 2.
Which surprises the shit out of me. Like, it really does. And it's because it's first person. It's first person. I know you did a whole Battlefield thing.
Yeah, I tried Battlefield, and we all know how that went for everybody.
And I thought you were done with that. And then out of nowhere, you're like, oh, yeah, by the way, I'm in the beta. Oh, yeah, by the way, I'm getting the game. So
I'm not even playing the third-person mode. I'm playing the first person.
So
multiplayer. So
tell us about the beta, and then did really anything change? And then from there, what are you actually, like, what's your multiplayer game that you're playing?
Let's see, the beta. That was fun. That was pretty crazy. Yeah, that was pretty nuts.
Did you get the panel, like the plate, that you're in the beta?
Yeah, I got all the. I maxed out the beta. I leveled out in the beta. I got everything you can get for the beta. Yeah, that was fun. It was pretty wild experience, especially because they have a couple modes that are kind of, as I was telling you guys, are like kind of like a fuck you to Battlefield. We're taking over because they have modes where there's a lot of players and ones that capture the area, capture the flag type mode, which is with the vehicles and the helicopters. It's very Battlefield, so it's kind of like they're. And the maps are a little better because there's more cover for infantry. And the shit's not destructible. So if you get in a building, you can't take that wall down.
It's true.
Which I find very fun. I like hunting tanks. Because in Call of Duty, I discovered this recently. Playing this mode Invasion I like to play, which is basically...
You're using the exploit, aren't you?
No exploit. It's a mode where there's like, I think 30-something, 40 players or something crazy like that, and then there's a shitload of bots. No matter what, even if both teams are full, there are bots everywhere. So it's fucking insane. And I discovered this thing you could do. See, I have this piece of equipment that's an EMP. Mm-hmm. So I light up a tank with that, and it disables it. And if the fucking player's dumb enough, they stay inside the tank. Big mistake, because I discovered, because I hit the EMP and then I jumped off a building onto the tank, because in my mind I was like, I'm going to ride the tank for a little bit. This is going to be fucking hilarious. And I'll record it and send it to Dan. I looked down and I discovered that on the tanks, the hatch is open. So I went ping and dropped a grenade and jumped off the tank and kablooey. And I discovered this is my new favorite fucking thing to do in video games. Is the EMP, and then you don't have to drop off the tank. You can climb onto the tank. And so I've been throwing like tear gas in the tank, just figuring out shit I can throw in the tank to fuck with the players inside. It's hilarious. But yeah, no, it's been fun. I will say the beta seemed like it played better, weirdly, than the game on release.
I was going to say...
It's been getting a lot of flack, and for very good reason. It's very wonky at times. It's really like with lag and...
Do you think that's just because of the amount of people?
I don't see how that's an excuse considering you're Call of Duty and you know that you're going to get a fuck ton of players. Like,
that's true.
This is something you should be prepared for with all the millions and millions you make off your games. You can afford to prepare for this. It's been getting a lot, and not just for in-game stuff. Like I had a whole thing where I was getting booted constantly, and I discovered it was because of one light machine gun. If I use that specific light machine gun, and I start firing it full bore and emptying a clip, the game would freeze up and it would give me a dev error. So I let them know about it. Like, obviously they're not going to say anything back to me. I let them know, but there's that. Yeah. And then I read about players just from doing something they're supposed to do with like PC, which is like download the game and then like run it through battle.net or something like that. That it was like crashing on them, and then they were getting banned.
I heard about that people were getting banned for like no reason.
And there's no word from Activision about it. There's no response. Nothing's being said like, hey, we're looking into it and we're going to fix it for you. It's just silence.
And ironically, like Activision is extremely fast with things like that when it comes to Call of Duty.
I'm surprised they haven't said anything, at least acknowledged it.
Yeah.
They did say, I understand that they're overhauling the fucker already.
Yeah,
the UI is shit. It's very confusing.
I think the only thing I don't like about the UI, and that's like when you were loading in, is that like it tells you the challenges, but you can't get rid of the challenges, so you can't see the actual players like that are signing up for that one match.
What I don't like is the fact that when you're using the double XP stuff, there's no ticker for it. Like you activate it, and it's like you better have your phone out and hit a stopwatch or something, because you don't, or you better be paying attention because you don't actually know when it's gonna fucking run up. Like there's no ticker for it, strangely. That's letting you know, like, hey, you got 10 minutes left for your double XP or whatever. It's a minor thing, but I thought that was weird and something that in a game the quality of Call of Duty should have.
Like usually where you activate it, they tell you how much time you got.
Never did, but thanks to those things and a shitload of Mountain Dew, I got to level 55 pretty quickly, even though I suck balls at that game.
I think I'm level 18. Chris, you were going to say something.
No, they did acknowledge that about the people being banned, but it isn't a permaban; it's a soft ban.
So what does that mean?
Well, a permaban is your account's permanently banned. But most competitive online games, if you quit a match too many times, they'll lock you out from playing for 24 hours.
No, these are people that they weren't quitting matches. They were just like, they had just downloaded the game or were like running.
Yeah,
and they were for no reason getting banned.
Oh, because they're also there's also an issue with Battle.net and the game crashing, and it's considering that player quitting the match.
Yeah, that's what I was talking about. Like that, it's that ban that
the
players haven't heard anything about. Like the players that it's happened to, they're like, hey, what the hell's going on? And they haven't heard word one.
Yeah, it's not a perma ban, but it's a soft ban. So
that sucks for them.
Oh, it definitely does.
That's terrible, man. Could you imagine just downloading that game, getting ready, and then can't play?
Yeah, right.
That would suck.
Yeah, people will still get back to it, though.
Oh, they will. You know, this game's going to have a lifespan of 2 years.
Oh, this game's going to have a lifespan of more than that.
I guess before, like...
Yeah.
Before they plan on, like...
The next one, yeah.
Doing shit for the next one, yeah.
Well, I guess, what is it? Warzone 2.0, so that's like the free-to-play. That's like the other kind of modes.
Yeah, it's the Battle Royale. Yeah, you won't hear about any of that from me.
Yeah. I actually enjoy that. I want to get into props at some point. I think props would be fun to play.
I'm gonna try that third person mosh pit and let the fans know how that is that haven't got a chance to play it. Because from what I understand, if you're experienced in third person shooters, you have a leg up on everybody. Mm-hmm. If you're used to how they work and utilizing the camera to your advantage. Yeah. So I got to give that a shot and see how I do there, because it's kind of like that's my wheelhouse.
So I am almost exclusively to kill confirm. I love that mode. I think that's such a...
I think third person has a kill confirmed.
It could be.
There's a couple modes. There's I think 3 available for third person right now.
What, Chris?
Is gun game an option? This is an old Call of Duty where you start off like each time you get a kill, you get a better weapon.
Yes, that's in there.
Oh, that was...
So you start with literally a pistol, and then you get one kill with the pistol, you suddenly get like a machine gun, and then it just kind of ramps up from there.
Gotcha. Yeah, I've only played Invasion, and I forget what the other fucking mode is called. The one where that's like the Battlefield mode. Those are the only 2 I've really played.
Yeah, no, I like I said, I'm kill confirm. I'm actually really enjoying it. I know that they're just going to add. They're just keep adding, and I'm not.
Well, they're going to fix first.
Yeah, they're going to fix everything. I don't have a worry that Activision will fix a Call of Duty game.
Oh, they'll fix it. It's just people are pissed right now. And understandably so, because this is yet another game in the long lines of games, and I bring this up about every show of games, AAA games that just get released apparently unfucking finished.
I don't think it's finished. Like, they came out and said that we are going to be releasing this in parts. So, like, it's not like it's a surprise. Like, they said they were going to release the campaign, and then they said they were going to release the
By unfinished, I mean the amount of bugs and all this, like the people getting, like, all the kinks weren't worked out, and they just fucking threw it out there. Or barely any of the kinks were worked out.
Yeah. I like I said, I don't have
Apparently, there's still a riot shield issue in that game.
Oh, yeah, I heard about that, too. There was one guy that was in my game that was a riot shield, and, like, even his, like, people don't like it. So even, like, his, like, people that were around him were shooting him. It was kind of funny.
Yeah, I've noticed that people gang up on riot shields.
Yeah.
And I've even seen a situation where the guy's teammates didn't fucking help him.
Yeah, not at all.
They just, like, let him be killed, and everyone started shooting each other again.
Yeah. So, with that. No, so like I said, I've been playing that. I've been playing Modern Warfare. I picked up Persona 5 on Steam Deck, or on PC, but I've been playing that on Steam Deck. That's like my 4th time playing through that game. Yes, I have beaten that game multiple times.
Chris, he's played through a game.
Yeah.
Oh, that's quite shocking.
It's amazing.
On that. And then I picked up, I haven't started it just because I pre-ordered it, but I did download it, is Star Ocean: The Divine Force, just because I like the Star Ocean games. So I gotta somehow get into there. But those are basically the 3 that I've been playing.
I can make Chris puke right now. You know what else I've been playing a lot of, trying to kill time for God of War?
What?
Gotham Knights.
You really have been playing Gotham? You got it?
I have one reason and one reason only.
I saw
one name, 2 words. Red Hood. That's all I care about.
Okay.
That's all I care about.
Yeah. What about you, Chris?
What I've been playing?
Yeah.
I've been playing Cyberpunk.
Uh-huh.
I'm on my 3rd playthrough.
You just want to see cyber titties. That's it.
No, my first 2 V's were male.
Okay.
He wants to see big, hot, steaming piles of wiener.
All right, and he was playing Patapon on the PlayStation. I left for like a half hour and came back, and he's created a new character on Cyberpunk, and he asked me, why can she have that?
Wait, who is this?
My nephew, 7 years old. He was creating the character, and he hit the gender part, and he had a bunch of questions for me on how girls can have that part.
Well, I mean, nowadays, I mean, we don't judge.
I told him, you know
We're
what?
accepting.
You got to have with your mom, not Uncle Chris. I'm not about to tell a 7-year-old of the whole nuance of.
I would have just told him, look, kid, this is a game where you can have razor blades coming out of your wrists. We don't ask questions.
He's a 7-year-old with autism?
I would have just said it's a video game. It's a video game, man. Talk to your mom. But yes, I'm just going to tell you, I'm going to say it's a video game, but you talk to your mom. And then she can yell at me for letting you play this fucking game.
But, I didn't let her play it. But, like I said, I'm on my 3rd character on now the hardest difficulty. And I got to say, it's been a treat.
Yeah. Yep.
I didn't play it up until about a month ago. And I didn't deal with all the drama with the game and how bad it was.
It was bad.
Edge Runners made me buy it.
Edge Runners made me play it again too.
I've only watched 1 episode of Edge Runner just because I haven't had time.
So good.
You're killing me.
I know.
It's actually a good show. You're not killing me. It's a good show.
Yeah. Very cool. I don't know what to say. We're kind of just winging it today. No, I kid.
If you know what to say, I could tell you all about Gotham Knights.
Yeah. Actually, so I did buy Gotham Knights on PC because I didn't want to deal with like the third, the 30 frames per second thing.
Not that big a deal.
Yeah. But I'm like, I got a PC that can run it and all of that. And you know what made me actually return it on Steam? You can't jump.
No, you have to get close to something and climb. There's no jump. There's no bunny hopping.
I don't know why I didn't like that so much, but it was just like, no, I can't play this game. Like I just
I
couldn't do it.
You couldn't jump in the Arkham games either.
I know, but I knew that going in. Like I don't know. Like I could not get past it. Like I want to be able to jump. And I'm like, I can't do it. Like I can't get into the story. I just can't. I don't care. I'm finding myself like I actually like started to like doze off when I was playing it. So I'm like, if I'm dozing on this, I can't play this game.
Well, that's because you're not a Red Hood fan. I'll play anything with him in it.
Yeah.
If I can play as Red Hood, I'm in.
I do get what you're saying because it's not going to be a popular opinion, at least to you, Dan. But Horizon Zero Dawn, I was falling. There was just so much boring part of that game.
Okay, I get that. It was very slow moving. Like Zero Dawn is very slow moving in the beginning.
It felt like a great. The story is what kept me there, but God, it felt like I had to like make myself play the game.
Yeah, I get it.
Yeah, Gotham Knights is just a game where you kind of make your own, like you just find your own amusement in it. Just do your own thing. Like I was like, fuck it. I just want to play a game. I've had Injustice. I had some challenges, in Arkham Knight. This is the first like fully fleshed out game that I can play as him. I'm just gonna fucking do it, and I find it amusing at times because they overlooked one detail. You didn't play enough of the game to notice it. They overlooked one detail that Arkham and Spider-Man did not look over. What? The no-kill rule.
Really?
Like, even in Arkham Knight with the Batmobile, lore-wise...
Yeah.
No, he had an electric shield that would hit the person, and they'd go flying 500 feet and break every bone in their body. You know what I mean? The Batman-type stuff. Yeah. This game, like, Arkham, you couldn't throw somebody off a roof. If you were going to hang them from something, you'd hang them with his wire.
Yeah.
Spider-Man, if you knock someone off a roof, he would throw some webbing out and catch them, so they wouldn't actually fall off the building, right?
Yeah.
And Gotham Knights, they did none of that. There's a sneak attack, a silent takedown, where if the crime is happening on top of a building, like a tall fucking building, like one's a skyscraper, it's the Gotham News Network, like the Gotham whatever. It's one of the tallest buildings in Gotham. The crime's happening on there. There's a guy with a sniper rifle. I do the sneak attack, and Red Hood grabs them and straight up throws them off the fucking building. And if you scan the person, because there's a scanner, it just says unconscious. Like, they're fine.
Unconscious.
You can straight up murder people. He has a takedown that's not so silent, where he puts his gun with non-lethal rounds. Even with a non-lethal round, he puts the gun right here and right on their forehead between the eyes and pulls the trigger. They're fine. It's borderline fucking hilarious to me. Like, he just straight up, like, one, after he interrogates somebody, it was this firebomb chick.
Mm-hmm.
And she's like, I'll tell you what you need to know. No need to slap me. And I'm like, that's funny. He doesn't slap people. And he straight up says, thanks, jackass. And then curb stomps her.
Yeah.
I was like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
They forgot about the no killing. They kind of fucked up with the no kill rule in this game.
A little bit.
You kill a lot of people. Well, I saw one clip where a guy knocked an enemy into a car going at least 50 miles an hour. And the enemy got hit by the car. I was like, he's fine.
Yeah.
He's fine.
Everything's good.
Car accident.
I noticed on Reddit people have been chalking up to Alfred fucking with their AR or something, so it just shows unconscious. No, you didn't kill anybody. It's fine. It's okay. You just threw them off a fucking skyscraper. They're fine.
So, so moving on to the next thing. CD Projekt Red actually, and this I think ties in a little bit. We can talk about the Netflix too. So they announced a couple weeks ago that they are making 3 more Witcher games. Do you hear about this?
They're making...
Why not just focus on one and getting that right, considering the history of game releases?
What they're doing is they're making 2 Witcher games, and then the third one, another company is remaking Witcher 1.
No, they're making 3 brand new Witcher games.
I thought the one thing I read is that they were making a next gen or new gen version of Wild Hunt.
No.
So they are doing that. They are releasing a next gen.
the only thing I've known about. It's really bad timing considering by the time season 4 rolls around, nobody's going to give a shit about the show and their base is going to go. That's one thing that's increased for this game and this franchise is the show. And once Henry Cavill's done after season 3, nobody gives a shit about Liam Hemsworth.
They're making 3 Witcher games plus a remake.
Yep. So according to this, and this is from VideoGamesChronicle.com, they are going to make a Cyberpunk 2077 sequel, the new trilogy of Witcher games, and Witcher spin-offs, and a studio's first original IP. So they are going to be busy. All three of the new Witcher trilogy is planned to be released within 6-year period of the first.
That is crazy production.
Yeah.
I did that motion to Chris because I'm kind of laughing on the inside. I was like, so after the absolute crap show that was the release of Cyberpunk, this is a bold move, Cotton. Let's see how this one plays out. You couldn't even get that one right on release, and now you got a 6-year plan to release 3.
No, well, they didn't even do it right with Witcher 3. Witcher 3 was a buggy mess at launch, too.
Yeah, this is a bold strategy, Cotton.
Well, they're moving and using the Unreal Engine 5, so they're actually getting away from their other engine that they used for these games.
Okay.
So, I mean,
that doesn't make it bulletproof.
Well, on top of that, though, they are now, this next year, they're opening a North America, CDPR is opening a North America division.
Yep.
For game. So it's not just going to be overseas development. They're looking to expand their development team, which is a good move by any standard because that team's just not big enough to handle all of this.
No, they couldn't even handle Cyberpunk.
No, not at all.
No, so it wasn't completely their fault. We know the story about the deadlines and being rushed. It's the only other thing that worries about me is the suits. Yeah, what does it say? They had a 6-year plan for these 3 games? Is that what it said?
Yeah. Well, they're saying that they want to release them within
6 years.
6 years after the first one's released. So
See,
you're
I'm worried about
every 2 to 3 years.
I'm worried about the suits getting involved in pushing deadlines and repeating and history being repeated. That's what I'm worried about.
Right now, they're doing world development. So they're what they're doing is they're not even on character design. They are concentrating on the actual world, the layout, where they're going to be, and it's going to be. There could be a lot of good.
I mean, if they're taking the same world and then just adding story with different UI mechanics, I mean that development, yes, long, but not as long as always developing. It's a brand new game. You know,
so it would basically be like the same map as The Witcher 3, but just maybe larger in scale, slightly. But they have everything core that they need for that map already.
Correct.
That's what you're saying.
Correct.
So here's the thing, though. That's on their engine. They're switching to Unreal. Everything has to be rebuilt from the ground up. Then.
Yeah. So they didn't say within 6 years all 3 games are going to be built from the announcement. They're saying we're going to make the first game, and then after that, within 6 years, there's going to be 2 other games that get released with it.
That still makes me nervous for the same reason.
So I mean, they could be on making this next Witcher game for 3-4 years before we even see anything. I mean, look at
how long were they making Cyberpunk for?
Cyberpunk they were making for what, 12 years, 13 years,
exactly. Which is why I'm saying I'm playing devil's advocate here and saying yes, it's exciting, but look what happened with like 10, 12 years. Yeah. We're gonna have this ready in 3-4. Are you?
Yeah. So, so that's fun. There is a little speaking of new studios, Naughty Dog and Sony are creating a brand new studio for a brand new IP.
For a second, I was going to be like, Naughty Dog is in a new studio.
No. They're they're going together and they're creating a new one. With that, on the Sony front, at the time of recording, literally 6 days? Can we count this day over? So 5
I sent
days?
you the invite for the event.
Yeah, I know.
I created a holiday on my phone for it.
Yeah.
God of War Day.
Yeah, God of War, Ragnarok. As far as I know, I mean, reviews have come out. We did not get a review copy. I did request, but obviously we're not big.
Reviews have been all perfect scores as far as I know.
Basically, I haven't seen anything below a 9. So it's either 9, 9.5, or 10, and I've seen more 10s.
I told you the one thing, and I don't really care really about reviews. I just have to see what people are saying, and they might say some things about the game that interest me. Like I found out some things about the combat and stuff, reading it, and I was like, oh, that's cool. About how it's faster paced, and the Blades of Chaos feel like the game, like the combat is faster paced than the last one, and it's more of like a balance between the old games and the new games, and it's not as like the style, but the pace and the speed. And they said you'll really notice the difference with the Blades of Chaos, and I'm like, oh, okay, that for someone who played the old games, that's cool. But the one thing that caught my attention was something IGN said, because I'm a movie guy, and they basically compared Ragnarok. They said comparing Ragnarok to the first game is like Godfather Part 2 compared to the first movie.
Yeah.
And Godfather Part 2 is one of the greatest movies of all time.
Yeah.
So I was like putting that in the same sentence, Ragnarok in the same sentence, I was like, that caught my attention. I'm like, wow.
Absolutely. I watched that same review. I
didn't watch, I read.
Yeah.
Because I knew there would be footage, and if I watched footage, there'd be footage I didn't want to see.
So they did say it was a spoiler-free one at the beginning, so it's not really anything new. I haven't watched.
No, you understand. I haven't watched trailers even.
Oh, you haven't.
I don't want to. I don't want to see. I don't want to visually see anything. So I just want it to happen.
I was the same exact way, and TikTok ruined it for me.
Yep. So
I've been like that ever since the last game, when I clicked on something, and there was no pretense, there was no warning that it was going to do this. Before I got to the part in the game, it literally showed me the Blades of Chaos.
Oh, really?
I saw them in action. I went, motherfucker. Now it didn't ruin the scene building to getting them for me, but I knew you were going to get them at some point because of that fucking piece of footage.
Yeah, see, I didn't. I did not. Like, I was kind of on the fence of getting the new God of War when it first came out, or like in 2018. I was like, do I want it? Do I not want it? Do I want it? Do I not want it? So I really didn't follow it. Like, I only saw what they showed like at E3, and then I was just like, okay, it's
you
out.
Want it.
Yeah, I want
you want it.
And then, I started playing it. I think I even really tried to convince you like right away, because I know you didn't get it right away.
I got it on release.
You did?
I ended up pre-ordering it and getting it on release.
It was our other guy, Mike.
I was apprehensive though. I was at first apprehensive because of the whole new with Atreus and all. I was like, I don't really give a shit about
you
his
didn't
kid.
want it. You didn't want it to be like a follow mission. Or like or what is that? A guidance mission or whatever?
I was afraid it would end up being something where like you end up having to play as Atreus and not Kratos. I'm like, I'm playing this game because I want to be Kratos. I want to smash it. I want to be this little kid with a bow and arrow.
Yeah. So, Chris, how long did you take before you played the first God of War?
I played that maybe a year after it came out. Oh, the first God of War?
No. The one in 2018.
The first Viking lore.
Oh, yeah. Like a couple days after launch.
Mm-hmm. I will say, I don't know if you've watched it or not, and even though it's old, it's actually really good. There's a YouTube video out there called Raising Kratos. It's like the movement of it, or not the movement, the behind the scenes and the making of it. Yeah, I think it's awesome.
Yeah, the cover, the screenshot for the video is Corey with like baby Kratos strapped to him. Yeah, I've seen it.
Well, throughout the whole recording of all the dialogue and everything, they actually had to use a voice modifier on Atreus because of puberty.
Yeah, like his voice changed during the recording.
Isn't it the same kid in this game?
Yeah, it's the same kid. It's actually both the same actors.
Good.
Actually,
I'm glad the Kratos actor stayed because this guy's killing it.
Freya, Kratos, and Atreus are all the same three actors.
Good.
Yeah.
Especially Kratos, because that guy was phenomenal.
Yeah, he was.
I apologize to anyone listening because I can't remember the actor's name right now. But he's phenomenal. Wasn't he on Stargate?
Yeah.
I think so.
Yeah, he does a phenomenal job as Kratos. It's awesome. At first, when I first heard the different voice, I was like, it's not the same guy from the other games, but no, it's not the same guy, and that's a good thing, I guess, because this guy's absolutely just owning Kratos.
Yeah, his name's Christopher Judge.
Christopher Judge, there it is.
Yeah,
Christopher Judge is awesome as Kratos. I hope now we don't know how the story's going to play out in this game, but hopefully, if there is still a Kratos by the end of the game, hopefully in the future, because I hope there are more God of War games. I hope they keep Christopher Judge.
Look, all right. I got a confession. I have never played the old God of War games. What I did do is there is a 3-hour God of War
movie on YouTube.
Yeah, pretty much. It's pretty much a movie. Yeah, I mean they go through all of the backstory. They tell you everything,
even from like the PSP games. They give you the full breakdown. Yeah, that's one way to do it because that's a lot of games to play. You know what I mean?
Let's just be honest. The old God of Wars were hack and slashes.
I loved them. I loved it. I played all of them. I loved it. I loved just the mindlessness of it.
But
there was very little strategy involved. It's just fuck shit up, and I loved it.
By the time I got to the point where I wanted to play them, I was kind of over the hack and slash game. So
I get that.
Yeah, I get it.
I get it. That's why those YouTube videos exist, so you can understand the lore. That's what I did with Call of Duty. I watched videos to see what about the story, so I'd know what the fuck is going on.
So, Christopher Judge plays Kratos. Sonny Soljic. These are all the people that have returned to the new one. Sonny Soljic plays Atreus. Danielle Bisutti, or I think that's how you say her last name. She played Freya.
That sounds right to me.
Yeah, Danielle Bisutti. She played Freya. And then Alistair Duncan played Mimir.
Mimir, yes. I love Mimir. He's back too. Yeah. That's good news.
And then
the new actors.
Robert Cagehead and Adam Harrington, they play Brock and Sindri, which are the dwarfs.
Mm-hmm.
So, as far as that I know.
Those are the returning
people.
And then there's the new cast. I'm excited about Thor. Ryan Hurst.
Yeah, Ryan Hurst.
That's
what is it? That's
Opie from Sons of Anarchy,
yes,
otherwise known as Left Side, the Gary from Remember the Titans.
Strong Side.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Yeah. Let's be honest. We all seen the secret ending to God of War, so we all know we're going to be fighting Thor. At one point.
Well, that hasn't even been hidden in it. Like
that's not even hidden anymore.
Like Ryan Hurst has been doing promotional stuff as Thor. Like he did the promotion, he did the video with them on unboxing the Thor deluxe package of the hammer. So everyone knows that it's no secret that Thor's happening and you're going to fight Thor.
So the question is,
you knew you were fighting Thor, especially if you've seen the secret ending. You know they're not going to exactly, shake hands, high five, and it's going to be a buddy cop movie.
So the question is,
which would be fucking hilarious, though.
Yeah, right.
The question is, do you at some point
get Mjolnir?
That's what I was just going to say. At some point,
I think
do you get it or keep it, or do you just have the ability to use it and wield it?
Maybe. I don't. You technically already have a Mjolnir because the axe does the same. So I think it would be cool if Kratos somehow harnessed the power of Mjolnir into Leviathan, like the lightning. That would be cool because technically it's the same. I mean, granted, you could still have Mjolnir as a weapon because it would be easy for them to create. It's just a shorter striking distance, but it's the same throw and come back animations for Leviathan. It would be cool, but I don't think that would be so OP, dude. Yeah. If Kratos had Leviathan, the Blades of Chaos, and Mjolnir. Like what, really honestly, on what it doesn't matter difficulty, what could honestly beat you at that point? Nothing.
I mean, think about it. In the God of War games, I mean, you got Zeus's lightning.
In the first game, he gave you his lightning for a little bit.
Yeah.
It was like a power. But like having Mjolnir, that's a whole different animal. Mjolnir is a world-ending weapon.
So that's what I'm wondering, is that, do you get Mjolnir to just be able to wield it for a certain amount of time, or do you get it to be able to keep it?
I will say this, and this is completely my theory.
Yeah.
I will say this. If, because of God of War's history, if, let's say the game ends with you beating the shit out of Odin, I wouldn't be surprised if you used it for one instant, for a bit in that fight, and that's it. Because that's more, that weapon makes Leviathan look weak.
Yeah.
Let's be honest. It's Mjolnir, dude.
Yeah.
If you look up Norse mythology and what Thor was able to do with that hammer, like...
Yeah, I'm really interested
to hear what Brock and Sindri have to say when talking about Mjolnir, because they're the ones who fucked up and made the handle too short.
Yeah.
It's supposed to be like a big tool, and the handle, it's a little...
I can't wait for it.
I can't wait to hear their comedic commentary about the hammer.
So definitely, obviously, Ryan and I are going to be playing it. Chris, are you picking it up right away, or are you waiting?
I might. I'll probably wait a little bit.
You realize that like all the other people in our Discord are picking it up right away too.
The problem with waiting for a game like that is you have to literally just stay off the internet.
So look, when I'm talking about waiting, let's see. It's probably gonna be bought the 12th or 11th.
Oh, okay. So you're a couple of days. You're waiting for the end of the week. He's waiting he's waiting for the paycheck.
Talked in a while. We bought 3 4-wheelers.
Honestly, I don't think there's any like real pre-order incentive for it either.
I mean, unless you got the collector's editions now.
Yeah, getting the deluxe edition gives you like armor and stuff, or like cosmetic looking stuff for the characters and like axe and stuff, but it's not that really big of an incentive.
Go ahead, Chris. What were you gonna say?
No, like exactly what Ryan says. It's all the deluxe edition. It's all cosmetics. I don't want the digital album. I don't need that. I just want the game.
Yeah, if the cosmetics like were really cool looking, then I'd be like, okay, maybe that would be a cool thing to have. But they don't draw. Like, I would rather have Kratos in his starting gear the entire, like, you know what I mean? I don't really care for God of War to have that, RPG grinding, that getting armor. I would just have, that's how Kratos looks. And so I don't really care for any of that.
See, that's one thing. That's one thing that I actually do enjoy in games.
It almost ruined the last game for me. Because like, I remember there were certain sections, like you have to have this armor to survive in this area. I'm like, fuck you. It's God of War. Just let me run in there.
Yeah. So I'm wondering if they're going to add a transmog at some point.
That's why I didn't beat the Valkyries, because you had to have certain builds and certain setups, what I mean,
to be able to do it.
Yeah, and I was like, yeah, I'm not doing that.
Yeah. or getting the Infinity Gauntlet, like you had to do so many obscure steps just to get that, and then when you finally get it, it's like a 1-hit kill, but then it needs like 10 minutes to recharge.
Yeah, I remember. So still looking forward to it. So next time we talk, we'll be talking about God of War and what we feel.
Extensively. It'll be a whole episode probably.
Might be.
If you are not streaming that, my friend, then I'm going to require your stream. I'm going to have to stream it.
Oh, I won't be streaming God of War. That's me time. That's me alone time. You don't understand how irritated I've been playing games. Because, and if anyone listens that I'm friends with on The Division and in my clan I've played with, I'm sorry. But because of The Division, I play with those people on The Division. But I look at it as a Division exclusive. Now it's bled over to every time I sign into Call of Duty or Gotham Knights. Hey, you got room? You got any room for another play? You got any room? Shut the fuck up and leave me alone.
Yeah. Yep, I get it.
So when God of War comes out, that is me time, because you don't even mess. I'm like, I'm shutting off. I don't know if there's a way to PlayStation I'll block all incoming messages. I'll make it appear like I'm offline.
You can do all of that.
Leave me the fuck alone.
Yeah, you can do all of that. So it's in your settings. So moving on to our final topic, and I think this is an actual big one. I'm not going to necessarily go into all the details because I don't know all the legal mumbo jumbo with it, but I am going to kind of talk about it on an overview of it, and I kind of want to get your guys' opinion about it. So, back in August? Was it? August or July, whatever. Microsoft put in a bid, and it was accepted to buy Activision Blizzard.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Which, obviously, Activision Blizzard has
Call of Duty, Diablo, World of Warcraft, StarCraft, Overwatch. I mean, all these big... The big one, the reason this has become a topic is the game that just came out.
Yeah, is God of War. So...
Is what?
I'm sorry, not God of War. Call of Duty. So, the thought process that goes into here, okay, is that... And it first started, I think, with Jim Ryan with PlayStation. He made it very public that he met with Microsoft and Activision, and they basically said, what he's saying is, so there's a contract that goes through, and I don't know what year, I don't know if it's like 2030 or 2027 or whatever, that there's exclusivities that Activision signed with PlayStation to get certain things first on PlayStation for Call of Duty.
for example, right now there's a lot of like, for PlayStation, it's exclusive that if you play with somebody else, you get like more XP or something like that.
I don't know.
Or if you party up or something. It's something, but it's some exclusive where if you like party up and you're with other players, you get more XP or something.
But
and you can't do that on the other ones.
No, you can.
No, you don't. It's an exclusive thing to PlayStation, like the amount of XP you get for partying up. Yeah, that's an example of like the exclusivity. PlayStation gets exclusive things that obviously,
and I know that like some maps
PC
are going
and
to come.
Xbox won't have access to, or they'll get access to them earlier.
Yeah,
which is the same deal Xbox used to have with them before PlayStation signed it.
Yeah, and it was some maps are going to be releasing first on PlayStation and all of that. So
I noted that because that's one thing to note, that a lot of people that are that are against PlayStation in this argument is that Xbox had this exact same deal before PlayStation did.
Yeah, they did. So basically, what they've come out and said is that after that's done, we're going to honor that. After that's done, we will only guarantee that Call of Duty will be on PlayStation for 3 years. That's it.
And mind you that if you look up the report, the financials and everything, because you can find this out, Call of Duty has been probably the most lucrative game on PlayStation.
It is. It has been. It's been their top seller. So what PlayStation has basically done is that, so in any type of free market, and once again, I'm not an economist and all of that, but in any type of free market system, you have to have you have to have competition. You have to have competition. You cannot kill your competition. If you do that, you can and you start to own everything. You create what's called a monopoly. Monopolies are illegal in the world finance, however you want to put it. They're just not allowed because it gives too much power and too much control of an industry to one company.
Unless you're Disney, then you're allowed to own Star Wars and Marvel. Continue.
But so it gives too much power to one company that then can control, and then it puts up a barrier of entry to new companies that are trying to get in. So so you got to create what's called a free and open marketplace, and you have to create what's competition. What PlayStation? So the two big governments, and right now it's just sitting in the EU, so in the European Union, and it's going to move to the U.S. government, or soon.
It's the United Kingdom that's the one that's really looking into this.
It's the UK
right now.
Yeah, is this creating an unfair advantage? This purchase of of these entities from Activision and Blizzard, is that giving too much of the industry to Microsoft? Is that giving too much of an advantage to Microsoft, given their track record that they've said that when they bought Bethesda, this is the example I saw. When they bought Bethesda, they came out and said Starfield is only going to be on Xbox.
At first they were singing a different tune before.
Yeah,
they purchased it, and then as soon as everything as soon as everything went through and everything was in writing, they said, yeah, about what we said before. Their first new IP is exclusive to us.
Yeah, so that's what they're kind of afraid of, and it is proven that PlayStation, their biggest selling game is Call of Duty.
Call of Duty is, that's honestly, and with cross-play on, that's the system you see playing. That's where you see people playing it the most.
Yeah.
Is you see PlayStation.
Yep. So the question comes in that I have with this is that, so now they're kind of investigating, okay, is this transaction actually legal to happen? Are we going to allow this transaction to happen? And right now, it does not necessarily look at it. It does, or I don't want to say that. There's deeper investigations that are going into it.
Yeah, we don't know whether or not it is or isn't going to happen, but
yeah. So with that, so the next part of this that goes into it is, and this is where I've seen the other end of it, is that PlayStation's been doing this for years.
Both of them. Nobody's been innocent in this.
Yeah,
nobody's been playing nice.
Correct.
It's been happening as long as both consoles have existed. Look how long it took both of them to agree to crossplay. First, one of them didn't want to do it, and the other one did, and then those roles flip-flopped. Then the other one wanted to do it, and the other one was saying, "No, I don't. Yeah. No, screw you, I don't want to."
Yeah.
So then neither of them play nice. Nobody's an angel in this story.
And now I find it amazing that during this week, at some interview that Phil Spencer had, he came out and said, as long as there's a PlayStation console to ship on, Call of Duty will ship on it. He said that. So did he basically confirm that Call of Duty is now always going to be a multi-platform?
He can say that all he wants, but as soon as if they get this purchase and everything's signed over, at any point he could decide otherwise.
Yeah.
So that's what he could say. He could say all the things he wants to seem like he's going to play nice, but if this purchase goes through after that contract's up, he can do whatever the fuck he wants.
So Chris, go.
$70 billion a year. Microsoft has to make up that money. That's not a cheap purchase.
Also, to what he's saying,
roughly, or I'm not 100% sure because last time I looked it up, it's been like a year or so. But they on average on profit like $900 billion. That's still $70 billion. They got to make their money back. They're gonna sell it because Microsoft's gonna get a cut from Sony sales. Every single digital cosmetic item that people buy, because everybody does, is going to go straight to Microsoft.
Every battle pass, everything. It's funny, especially when you're looking at 60-70% of the Call of Duty players are on PlayStation. That just it does not make any sense to not make that money. Now, again, we were saying the same thing though with Starfield, but here's the thing. Starfield, that Bethesda buy, that's going to be that was a push to, hey, look, if you want to play Bethesda games, Xbox is the way to do it. But they would be completely dumb to do that with Call of Duty. It would be a financial just disaster if they did that. Yeah, because the Bethesda games, Fallout, Starfield, those are single-player games. Those could be console sellers. Call of Duty is a multiplayer game. It would be stupid to cut out an entire audience, especially one that brings in that much money.
Which is why I'm kind of wondering why on Bethesda they're even taking those exclusives off. Like, I just don't get it. Or it becomes a timed.
They're trying. They might want to turn Bethesda games into what PlayStation has had with Uncharted and God of War.
True.
Console seller.
They're trying to create the console seller.
Yeah.
So the question I have with this is this fair? I mean, is this Sony being greedy or is this Sony being smart?
I don't care what it's Sony being. I think it's smart. They're all greedy. They're corporations. Let's get that out of the way. As I said, nobody's the good guy in this situation. Mm-hmm. What Sony is unintentionally or is intentionally, unintentionally doing is, in a way, they're kind of protecting their PlayStation players. Mm-hmm. I mean, they're doing it for money, but in reality, what they're also doing is, if they win this battle, they're technically keeping Call of Duty for everyone that's going to keep playing those games.
Yep. Chris?
Which I don't think all of them would buy an Xbox for Call of Duty. A lot of them might just say, well, I can't afford to buy an Xbox, or out of anger, they might just go, fuck it, I'll play something else. And then Xbox will lose all of that money.
Yeah. What about you, Chris? What's your thought?
I mean, Xbox, about the monopoly, Microsoft's on the verge of their gaming studio becoming a monopoly. I'll 100% agree. Just because when they did the Bethesda purchase, it came with 6 other studios. When they do the Activison and Blizzard purchase, that comes with 15 other studios. So it is a big purchase, but they're getting a lot of production only for the Microsoft platform. Mm-hmm. But one thing that's going to save them is that they're also, when Microsoft buys something, is you're guaranteed PC support now.
Oh, and people get the game on Game Pass.
Yeah, well, that too. So any first-party releases are always on Game Pass.
Mm-hmm. Which is, I believe Phil Spencer said would be their plan for Call of Duty.
Yeah.
I mean, we're looking at potential Call of Duties on Game Pass, which right there, you're not spending $70. You're getting a free game. Okay, and then all right, well, so and so didn't, they only got the Game Pass, but every season they're spending $20 on the Game Pass. All right, well, a Call of Duty game, let's say they get 6 seasons out of it. They've made that a lot of money off one person. And that's not if, the end of the season's there. And, hey, by the way, you can throw $10 to unlock 10 ranks in the season. There's people out there that I'm guilty of doing that in Destiny, where at the end of the season, I don't want to grind. I don't want to do all the work. It's $10 and I can finish off my season ranking. Might as well. I'm I'm guilty of doing
So that brings up my next
I've become
question.
guilty of that with my first Call of Duty game. I bought like the deluxe edition, you know, whatever, which when the first season comes out, I rank up 50 times. 50 free ranks, just like I was like, fuck it.
Yep.
Yep.
So the question I have then, and Chris, you brought up the game that I was going to bring up. Okay. So let's say this deal does go through. Okay. And, you know, Microsoft hasn't said that they're going to blah, 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 whatever, whatever it does. It goes through. Papers are signed. Money is given over. Official stamp seal. Does Sony play the card Destiny 3 now becomes Sony PlayStation exclusive?
If this goes through, you're gonna see a lot of shit like this petty shit going on where they're gonna anything that can be made exclusive will be immediately.
That's what I'm saying. Their next biggest one, I think, to that with the player base is Destiny. Do they make it PC and PlayStation only? And sorry, Xbox, you're shut out of luck.
I would honestly, if this deal goes through, that's the first thing without hesitation. If I was Sony, I'd be like, well, fuck you then.
Even though Sony bought a chunk of Bethesda, they don't own enough to have that type of power. But what they do have.
You mean Bungie?
Bungie, sorry.
No, they bought Bungie. They own Bungie. No, they own Bungie. It is their studio.
What else does Bungie make?
That's really about it. They made Halo.
But they
don't own the Halo IP anymore.
I was going to say.
Yeah.
I was about to say.
Yeah.
Well, Sony has a big fuck you card then.
No, no. Seriously, no. Bungie is a parent company owned by or a subsidiary company owned by PlayStation. Just like they own Naughty Dog, just like they own Insomniac, just like they own Sucker Punch, all of that. That is all Sony. It's not a portion. It is all Sony.
Yeah, this deal will also ruin any chance of Xbox ever getting any Sony exclusive because Sony's already branched out to PC with some of them.
Yeah. Go ahead, Chris.
I can get Crash Bandicoot on Xbox.
Because it's not owned by Sony anymore. It's not owned by Insomniac.
Really?
Yes, that's why.
Well,
it's actually owned. It's actually owned by Activision Blizzard, or a company under Activision Blizzard.
I know one person who's going to keep it on the Xbox because this man has put about $10,000 in Destiny by himself, and it's a mutual friend of all three of ours.
Yeah, I can tell you if this deal goes through, though, Sony's not going to care about losing the Xbox players for the game. They're just going to do it as a gigantic fuck you.
But here's the thing. You're comparing Call of Duty to Destiny. Destiny on its peak had what Call of Duty has on a daily basis.
Yeah. I get that.
I get that. I'm just saying I would do it if I was them. It's kind of like a fuck you.
And I want to clarify two things. One, Activision bought the Crash Bandicoot series in 2008.
So since 2008,
Crash Bandicoot has been owned by Activision.
See, I didn't know that until today.
Sold off by. It was actually.
I was with Chris on that until you said that. I did not know Crash Bandicoot was owned by somebody other than Sony.
So Naughty Dog owned it from 96 through 99, which then in 96 went all the way to 2000, and that was under parent companies of Sony Entertainment. And then it went to Universal Interactive, then Vivendi Games, and then Sierra Entertainment, and then Activision. So,
moral of the story is it's going to be on Xbox. There's nothing Sony can do about that because they don't own it anymore.
Oh yeah. Crash Bandicoot's going to be on there. What I'm saying is that, and you're right. We've had a friend that Destiny 2, all of that, all the money that he's put into it, and you've put into it, and all of that. That's great. Second Destiny 3 comes out. And all that content that deals with Destiny 3, Sony exclusive. Sorry, Xbox.
I'm not. Again, there are no angels. I'm not taking sides. I'm just saying I wouldn't be surprised if they did that if this deal went. If this deal goes through.
But here's the thing. Even if this deal goes through, it's really going to depend on Microsoft on how they handle their new IPs that they're owning. All right,
the smart move on their part would be to keep Call of Duty on all systems financially.
Call of Duty alone, as it is, it's going to be smooth sailing. Nothing's going to change. I mean, obviously, there's going to be, it just like PlayStation has it though, where it's again, you get it first on PlayStation. Xbox had that for Call of Duty originally on Xbox 360, where you wanted maps or you wanted DLC, you had to wait 30 days to get it on the PS3.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Is that
we'll run stuff like that, but I mean, it's really guys losing. Again, Sony gaming division does not make the same amount of money as Microsoft. They don't have the same backing power. I mean, you're looking at
I would flip that statement to a point. PlayStation makes a fucking killing off of their third-party games. Or I'm sorry, their first-party games. Their IPs. They make a killing off of it.
One of them comes out next Wednesday.
It's not Xbox that has the backing. It's Microsoft has the backing that they can pour into the Xbox division.
Yes.
Because if you really think about it, Spencer even came out this week and said, yeah, we've had way too long of a drought without a first-party exclusive.
Yeah, PlayStation's PlayStation's been the king of the exclusive.
Yeah.
And again, if you remember over the summer, we're looking at next year being a very, very strong Xbox year.
Oh, yeah.
All right. I mean, you're looking at, and these are, there's a lot of big titles coming on Game Pass. We're looking at Diablo is one of them. All right.
Starfield.
Diablo, Starfield. And those are just 2 titles in the beginning of the year. That's not counting all of the indie games and the 60 other games that are coming. This month.
Redfall, Contraband. You're right. I mean, they do. They have the ability. Fable supposedly is coming out next year. That's rumored. What is it? Vampire? Oh wait, no. Vampire the Masquerade actually got announced for PlayStation. So, I think what we're getting at is that I think there will be retaliation. Now, the other question I have then too is that let's say it does go through too. And they say, okay, we're going to keep Destiny on everything because we realize it's still a moneymaker. It's stupid for us not to make money. Does Sony then move over with the rumored acquisition of Square Enix?
I mean,
that's Kingdom Hearts, that's Final Fantasy, that's Dragon Quest.
When you think of what gaming console pops in your head?
When you think of what?
What gaming console pops in your head when you think of Final Fantasy?
Oh, PlayStation.
It's already the case.
Look, they are so intertwined with each other. I mean, they're roommates.
Right? They might as well. Be in business together.
They got to stop being FWBs and just become the couple.
Put a ring on it.
Yeah,
just put a ring on it, Sony.
So
you've been sleeping with this bitch on the side, not telling your wife for a while. Just put a ring on it.
Oh man, that's a horrible way of explaining it, but okay, I get it. So I think that the acquisition is going to go through, but what I think is going to happen is I see a division or a new company being created.
Somebody say the division?
No. I see a brand new Call of Duty company being created.
What do you mean? Sony trying to create a competition for Call of Duty?
Well, what would happen is that
because that's kind of making me laugh.
What I'm saying is no. So one of the ways to avoid monopolies is that you take you take assets or you take IPs or whatever like that, intellectual properties, and you create a completely different company. And it's not part of that. You can have relations with Xbox to it, but it becomes its own company. It has its own board of directors, has its own CEO, has its own, COO, all of that. So do they do that with a franchise like Call of Duty and say, well, no, it now becomes Call of Duty Company Inc., whatever. And now we avoid that issue. There's a couple of things that actually can happen to it.
There's a lot of things that can happen. There's a lot of what ifs, and obviously nobody's going to know anything until it all plays out.
True.
And personally, I don't really care how it plays out. I just started playing Call of Duty. If they say, hey, in a few years you're not going to be able to play it anymore, oh well.
Yeah. So that's true.
I'll sit back and I'll still enjoy God of War, Spider-Man.
Yep.
Hopefully there will be another Uncharted in the future. Can we name some other exclusives? I mean,
No.
Like I'm not really worried about losing Call of Duty.
Yep. And since we can't name any more exclusives, I think that will actually do it for us tonight, though. So, happy God of War Eve week.
God of War.
Yeah.
God.
Been waiting for a while.
Oh, so long.
Chris, say that again.
I completely forgot God of War was coming out next week.
Okay, we're hanging up the phone on him. So, but no, thank you for joining us. Check us out once again on our socials.
Feeling a tingle in the groin area thinking about it.
As I'm trying to talk about that, so shut up. Socials at the Save Point on Twitter, Save Point TV on Instagram, and what is it? Twitch.tv/the Save Point TV. And that will do it for us, guys. Thank you for listening, and until next time, have a good one, I guess.
Yay! I got a balloon. Yay!